Hey, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Yes, I'm seeing waves. So, all right. I am so excited that I finally get my chance to talk to you guys and hang out with you. Uh, Kathy and John have clearly been having all the fun. So I am so excited to see your faces and to share a little bit about what I do and what I do at Catch the Moon, what I do in other businesses, and then how you guys can really take some steps to making sure that what you're doing right now in your music career is truly a career. It's truly a business. It's not just a hobby that, might make a little bit of money sometimes here and there. I really want to help you take some tangible steps to make sure that what you're doing is truly going to be a business that's sustainable for you and your life and bringing in the income that your goals are to bring in. And I'm going to have the chat open. If you ask any questions in the chat, I will do my best to answer them as we go. If I miss anything, then I will go ahead and scroll through at the end, and then we should have time at the end for some Q&A, so you guys I'll unmute you and you can ask any questions, anything I can clarify that we go through today. So if you don't know me, you've probably seen my face popping up here and there in the Facebook group. I'm Angela Greaser. I'm the Director of Operations for Catch the Moon Music. And I also have my own business that my husband and I are crazy enough to work together. We are business partners and life partners, and we run a business called All the Ops. And we help businesses all around the world set up their business operations so they can be streamlined and systemized and profitable, and really help you have a life, have a business that you can be fulfilled in. And we're so blessed to be able to do what we do. We are on the opposite side of the world, opposite side of the country than Kathy and John. We are in southern coastal Maine, which is awesome. We live in the woods. Like, picture this. We live in the woods, we're on a river, and we're 3 miles from the beach, and we're in the foot of a mountain. So yeah, we're kind of in nature wonderland here. So it's a little bit different than John and Kathy in LA, but I'll take the woods. So we've got 2 young daughters, and we are just loving life, loving our business, and helping people. And so blessed to be here at Catch the Moon. And my musical background is not nearly as professional as you guys. Really, the extent of my music background, besides like kids piano lessons, because who didn't take piano lessons when they were a kid? I was actually a singer and sung competitively for a while, more like classical singing. And of course did the whole musical theater gamut and all of that. When you're in high school and college and you think you're so cool, but still a little bit of a musical theater geek. And yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. So don't ask me like technical questions about music, because I will not be able to help you, but I can 100% help you with business and operations, and also questions about Catch the Moon and the course and any of that comes up. So the first thing that we're going to cover today is, surprise, surprise, something you guys have already done. The fact that you guys are here, the fact that you have skin in the game, that you have invested in a course, that you have invested in something that's going to increase your skills, that right then and there shows that you are taking tangible steps to make music more than a hobby. Because when you can, there's nothing wrong. Can you do something about the glare in your glasses? It's distracting. Whoosh. Yes, I sure can. Although I might have to squint to see your to see your comments. I'll just scoot a little bit closer here. Blinds in the room. Skylight. I've got skylights here and the glare gets bad. It's nice because we get a lot of natural light, but it's actually the skylights and it's in the screen of my computer. I have not figured out how to, like, if I turn off my screen, then I can't see your faces. So it's usually just the glare of my computer and my glasses. So, but I'm not totally blind. So anyway, hopefully there's nothing else distracting, hopefully. Okay, so, okay. So yeah, so the fact that you have taken steps, not just in your routines, not just in what you're doing with your time, but that you've actually taken a monetary investment in what you're doing. And it's scary, man. Like, it is scary to put out money for a course, for equipment, for producer fees. All those things are really, it's scary to put it out there. But it also shows that you're taking this tremendously seriously and that you are ready to make a change and that you are ready to take those tangible steps for your business. And I'm going to say the word business a lot, but like, it's the truth. Because if we want something that is going to be profitable, that's going to be something sustainable, not just for today, not just, when we're in this course, but as we go forward in our lives and we have this recurring income that can help support our lives, that can help us, if we have other jobs that we want to leave, to be able to take those steps, we have to make financial investments in that. And you guys have already done that. And that to me is one of the hardest steps, that's when you actually put that credit card number in and you're putting money that you've earned, that's a big deal. And, I know to some people that might not be, but like for me, investing in a course like this would be a big deal. And I've, made investments in my own professional development and degrees and things like that. And it's a big deal. And it speaks a lot for how you guys are taking this so seriously and really ready to make it work. So that's something you guys have already done. So yay, you guys are awesome. So number one is something that, besides what you've already done, number one is something that I know Kathy and John have both really, really talked to you guys about. And this is so important, so I'm going to say it again. If this is going to be something that you are going to do for real, you have got to, just like you block it off on your calendar, if you've got a dentist appointment, a doctor's appointment, a work meeting, you have to go to work from 8 to 4, from 9 to 5, whatever your work schedule is, you need to, on your phone, on your wall calendar, wherever you keep your time, you need to plan and you need to protect the time that you're going to work on your music. It's not just about, okay, I'm going to put this on my calendar and maybe I'll do it and maybe I won't. That means notifications on your phone are off, except for like family emergency type stuff. That means, distractions are away. That means you are focused in on what you need to create that day. And it needs to be a regular set schedule. Doesn't mean that you can't, because that's some of the beauty of creating what we do is being able to have flexible schedules, but you have got to set aside and you've got to protect that time. That means no compromises. That means barring some extreme personal obligation, a family obligation, something like that, you protect that time just like you protect your work time for a traditional job, just like you would protect, if you've got a doctor's appointment or something like that, you've got to set up those boundaries so that you can create and that you can do what you need to do. And for me, I always encourage people to take it a step further rather than just blocking off the time on your calendar. Set aside what exactly you're going to be doing that day. And, obviously, there's going to be different parts of the creative process, and I get that. I completely get that. But if you know, okay, if you take, we're going to start on Monday, and I know I need to finish this song by the end of the week, or whatever you need to do, you have got to break that down and plan, like block out your time so that you're not sitting there saying, okay, I'm going to do this for 5 minutes and I'm going to write this. And then, oh, wait, I need to send an email to this music supervisor. Or wait, I need to pitch this. Oh, wait, I need to do this. The more you can batch tasks together, batch processing will help you not only get more done at the same time, but it's going to help you get better work done because your brain isn't distracted in all of these different, all of these different scenarios of things you could or should be doing. Focus in on what that thing is that you need to get done in that hour that you have, or even that half an hour. If you just write one part of your song, or if you just reach out to, who you're co-writing with, or your producer, or whatever, focus in on those tasks, because as creatives, it can be really easy to get distracted. And again, I give you full permission to follow your creative juices. And if you're in the flow of writing and it's just going and you're running into your email block of time, then like, I get that, guys. I'm not saying not to go in your creative flow. However, whatever you can do to set structure and whatever you can do to really get in the zone of whatever it is that you are creating or working on that day, that time of the day, even if you've got like your lunch break at work and that's all you have, you've got a half an hour. Okay, I'm going to eat my sandwich in 10 minutes and then I'm going to have 20 minutes and I can write 5 emails. I can send 5 pitches to 5 music supervisors, done. And you set those very, very specific, tangible goals. And that is going to be not only a way that's going to move you forward, but you also get to celebrate those wins every single day. Like, hey, I got 1 email out today. I got this part written of my song. I got 15 minutes to, collaborate with my team, because we're co-writing this song. And you get to celebrate and you get to feel good rather than just, oh my goodness, I have this song that I've been working on for months and it's going nowhere. That's not where I want you to get stuck. I want you to continually be able to be moving forward. And let's see. Number 2 is something that can be another thing that can be super scary for some people. But I highly suggest opening a separate business bank account. Having an account where you are getting in all the money that is going to be, because I know you guys, you guys are an incredibly, insanely talented group. I just have to say that, first of all, this specific cohort of people that is coming in, you guys are just knocking our socks off with your talent, with your spirit, with your drive. I mean, and I'm not saying that to like flatter you all. I'm saying that honestly, like you guys are just an incredible group of people. I'm so honored to know you all. But what I want you to do, as you've got this money coming in or fees coming in for different things that are specifically related to your music licensing, or even if it's like not just licensing, if you're doing gigs and you're doing other things like that, have a separate bank account just for that. So that as you are paying fees for disco or for this course or whatever, that you have that in a separate account. So it doesn't feel like this really hard thing when you have to then take it out of your personal account to go pay for a subscription for something, or to pay if you're going to go to a conference, or producer fees or studio fees or whatever. If you have that separate bank account, it's going to protect that money, and it's also going to make you feel pretty dang good when you can transfer some of that money and pay yourself, and that money is also protected, that is protected. That is this is your business. It isn't just, hey, I got $50 because I played my guitar down at this restaurant. Woo, this is awesome, which it is, guys, it's awesome. But then you have this and it feels like this real, and it is this real business that you are forming and that you are laying the foundations for. And that can be a really, really big step forward. And that kind of ties into a little bit what some of us in the group were talking about. Drop me a comment if you are in California. Let me know who right now is in California. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we've got a lot of people in California. My poor friends in California. AB5 if you have not heard of what it is, it's a pretty complex employment law that's being passed for some really good reasons. You know, essentially, it's cracking down on the difference between an independent contractor and an employee. Because in all of the states in the United States, and specifically in California, employees have certain rights and employers have responsibilities to employees. So, you know, taking out things for Social Security, unemployment, things like that, that are fees and different ways that things are taxed. There are some bigger corporations who, in the government's opinion, have taken advantage of this and been using workers and classifying them as contractors and denying them the rights of employees. And there's federal employment law that determines what an employee is and what a contractor is. And California is just raising the stakes for what can be classified as an employee versus a contractor. Now, a lot of people are like, okay, well, yeah, these big businesses, we got to crack down and make sure that they're not, you know, taking advantage of people. However, this also has ramifications for some of us who are small business owners or contractors ourselves, even like Uber drivers. Uber is actually one of the ones who's like on the front lines of this and fighting this a lot. But again, that's like a bigger corporation, right? But for us who are musicians and small business owners, or you're getting gigs to play places, and even within Catch the Moon and how our business is structured, that's a California-based business. There's essentially, it's really cracking down on what you can classify. And I'm going to do my best to explain it in concise terms. But honestly, this is my husband's wheelhouse. He is like the HR law compliance expert guy. And we were going over some of the laws because honestly, even from when it was proposed up until now, there's been a lot of changes to it. So essentially what it's saying is that if I am a business owner, whether I have, 10,000 employees or workers, or I have two, in order to be classified, the burden of proof is always on the employer. And essentially, a worker has to be free of the control and direction of the hiring entity in order to be classified as a contractor. So number one, so essentially I can't, if I'm your boss, I can't tell you when, how, what to work. I essentially can't manage your performance at all. You have a contract, you have a job to do, and that's it. I don't have any say in how, as long as as long as you meet the deadline. And then it's also, so not only do I, as the employer, have no control over that, I also, the worker cannot be performing any duty that's inside of the normal business operations of that business. So like if we're looking at this as let's say I have a bar and I need musicians, I would like musicians to play every Friday night because we have this, that's just an expectation in this bar. So I'm hiring these musicians and I'm paying them like this flat contract, and they're showing up, they're doing their job. Well, there's a possibility, and this is, again, not a lawyer, will never claim to be a lawyer. But so let's say the government is then saying, well, if your bar is advertising that your core operations are, alcohol, food, and music is core to your operation. So then that musician needs to be an employee, not a contractor. And again, I'm not saying that's how they would interpret the law, because that's a pretty loose interpretation of the law. But those are the kind of questions that this law is bringing out. And the other, so it's basically, it's an ABC test. So that was A, B, and then C is if the independent contractor, if the worker has an established business outside of this other business. So like, let's say I have this bar and I'm going to hire you to come play a gig. So if it's just you and you're kind of hanging out and you're doing your thing, then that's one thing. But let's say I'm hiring you and you have, you know, with the IRS, you have filed, you are a sole proprietor of this business, and that's how you're filing your taxes for all the income and things that you're getting paid. Then that gives them a little bit more leeway to say, no, you're not an employee, you're a contractor. So there's a lot of question marks still right now. It hasn't been signed by the governor. What I would love to do is talk to my husband as this is getting passed through, and see what information that I can get for you guys specific to what we're doing here in the music industry, because there are certain exceptions for different types of industries, and there's still going to be, you know, there's still going to be standards that you have to meet. But there's going to be, what my fear is that the fear of this law is going to cause a lot of knee-jerk reactions, which are going to make it difficult for people to land gigs and to do independent contracting work that they used to do, because people are going to be afraid to hire them. So I'm really hoping that as this bill is getting passed, that we get a lot more clarification from this, what is it, like a 70,000 word or something. It's a pretty long document, and I was literally reading through it again this morning to see if I could get more clarity, and it's all like redlined and it's all updated and things like that. But all of that goes to say, well, I don't have all of the clear answers of what AB5 is going to mean for us in music licensing, and for you guys who are playing gigs. It's really a good idea to have yourself established as a business entity. And that will be something that you'd want to talk to if you have an accountant, or there's like specific lawyers who help people set up either, you know, an LLC or even just filing as a sole proprietorship. Can be something that could be really advantageous to you, not just in the wake of this law that's being passed, but also with different tax advantages and ways that you're filing taxes. But again, I'm not going to know that for every state and for everybody's individual situation and the type of income that they're bringing in. But I would 100% put that on your list for something to look into. I do have, I'm actually going to write myself a note to post her in the group. Her name's Caroline Fox. She's a lawyer that I've worked with many times, and that's what she does. She helps people who are starting businesses. She helps singers, photographers, wedding planners, all different kinds of businesses, and helps figure out, like, hey, should you file as a sole proprietor? Should you set up your business? Should it be? And there's still, you know, there's still businesses who will set up they'll incorporate in other states and things like that. And again, that all depends on the complex law and what you can do in the specific type of business that you're doing. But if you're going to be a business, then make yourself a business. It is in your best interest to protect yourself, protect your own personal financial assets, and set up something that's like an LLC, or something like that for your music business. And even part of that sometimes a roadblock that we hit mindset wise before we even get to, oh my gosh, I'm opening up a bank account and I'm talking to a lawyer about a business, is claiming your identity as a musician and as a professional musician. Because I know a lot of us these are these natural talents that we've been developing over time and that we've been, you know, sharing in small circles. But when you introduce yourself, how are you introducing yourself? What is your title? What are you, a singer-songwriter? Are you a producer? What are you right now? And claim that. And not only in your mind, but as you're talking about yourself and what you do. And let's say you have a side job. Let's say you're an accountant, but you're also a singer-songwriter. What's in your heart? What are you driving forward? When you introduce yourself, say, yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter and I'm also an accountant. Like, that's kind of where your mindset is what's going to be moving you forward and the things that you're bringing to the forefront of your mind. And even if time-wise, you're having to spend more time because you need that traditional job for now, even if time-wise, that's where kind of you are at the moment, keep claiming that identity of where you want to be, of being a songwriter, of whatever that title is, claim it and take it. I really encourage you then to take it a step further. Once you know what you are and what you want to be, take that and let people know. So a super, super easy way that's not only going to make you feel really good about yourself, it's going to make you look professional in the industry. John had done a workshop. I wonder if he's going to do it again. He did basically it was a workshop about how to network if you don't live in LA, how to get the right, I think that was the name of the workshop that he did, was how to network in the music industry if you're not in LA. And one of the things that he had talked about was, even if you're just starting out, creating a website that showcases, even if it's just a picture of you and your guitar and a few music samples, a clean, simple, free website that you can send people to sample your music, to know what you're doing, to get a feel for your character. And it doesn't need to be this stiff, serious musician. Show your character, show your personality, show your passion. And it's something that you don't need to go, you can absolutely hire somebody and make that investment, but it's also something that you could really easily do for almost nothing. Buy the domain for $10 on GoDaddy of your name or whatever you want to be known as. And Wix, you can set up a free website with, all of those things that you could, again, block out maybe half an hour a week for for a month and get that website up there so that you are represented, so that you are not just holding this in your head and in your heart and in your computer as you're taking this course, but you are literally, you have an established place where you can send people to say, hey, this is what I'm doing, check it out. This is my one song. If you have one song that you want to show the world, these are all of my songs. This is my experience. This is where I've been, playing. These are the different things that I've done with my life and with my music. So it's just, again, a super, super easy way to have that. And there's definitely, there's obviously social media and getting established there as well. But I really encourage you, if you start up a Facebook page, if you start up an Instagram account, which, again, great ways to reach people. Don't get caught up in the numbers. Don't get caught up in the, I need 100,000 followers or I'm a failure. That's not what we're about. That's not at all what you need. But again, having a place to tell the world what you're doing is a really great thing. And again, it's taking this passion that you've had in your heart, and it's taking that step to show it to the world, because that's not just, hey, look at me, look at this is awesome. It's, hey, I'm taking this really seriously. And when music supervisors are getting your things, and when people in the music industry are getting to know your name, and then they can see, hey, this is other music this person has done. This is what they're doing. This is awesome. You want to have that home base that will help establish you in your career. And then one of the things that, again, we've talked about, I know John and Kathy have talked about just briefly, and we've talked about SMART goals and things like that, but I just really tying it all together, and all of these different ideas of ways to take your music from a hobby to a business. It's a lot of stuff, right? There's a lot to do on top of, the coursework and everything that we are working on. Set reasonable and agile goals. So when we're looking at, okay, we've got a few months left of this year, what are we going to accomplish by the end of the year? And break that down into measurable goals that you can also shift if you need to. So we've got the holidays, it's a crazy holiday season, and things it's not a bad idea to set aggressive goals, but yeah, setting those SMART goals so that you are not only have this big picture dream of, I'm going to finish this course and I'm going to have 3 songs done and they're going to be awesome and they're going to be pitchable, but breaking that down into every single week. What is my goal this week? What is my goal today? What is one thing that I'm going to do to move myself and my business forward today? If I literally have no time, can I pull out my phone and do some research? Can I listen to some songs and see what's working? What can we do? No matter what is going on in our lives, no matter what is, facing us, or our plans get changed and we don't get to record when we were planning on it, or we don't get our writing time or whatever, don't let that discourage you. Do one thing every single day that's going to move you forward. And that will truly make all the difference, because I think all of us we all have stuff, we all have life. Even if we're already blessed enough to do music full time, life still happens, obligations still happen. And making a commitment in your heart that you are going to do one thing every day to move yourself forward, I think it's really a game changer in your mind, because nobody can make this a priority except for you. Nobody can. I can't, John can't, Kathy can't, Delana can't. We can't make this your priority. You have to. You have to take this seriously. You have to say, yes, this happened today. My car broke down. My kid got sick. All of these things happen, but I will still continue to move forward. And I was so lucky yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw Scotty. He's one of our alumni from Six Figure Songwriting. He popped in the challenge group when we did the 5-day challenge. Incredible person. I was on the phone with him yesterday. He's actually, you're going to start seeing him. He's going to start hanging out in our group too, just to hang out and give you guys some encouragement and advice, because he's been through it all. He was in our course and was diagnosed with cancer. And the same day that he was diagnosed with cancer, and I'm sure he'll tell his story better than I can when he's in the group more, but the same day he was diagnosed with cancer was the same day he got a call from us saying, hey, we just signed one of your songs. And he said that he was faced with the most difficult thing he'd ever faced in his life. And he's married and has kids and all of that. And and he had this music career and everything. And he's like, that one spark, that one hope that you guys gave me is what got me through, and what got me through treatment and everything that he's had to face. And there's so many things that we face in life. Even John, when we're in the middle of this challenge, I mean, with his mom passing and all of that, I was just blown away at how he has still been consistently so generous and so giving and so open with us as a team, but also us as a course, showing up and letting, and not as an obligation, but as a passion. And when we make that commitment, that makes all the difference, because we can make that a priority. We can get through the challenges that we face. And that's one of the cool things I think about this course and being broken up into the small teams, that we can be real with each other, and even in the whole group, we're all people. We can share when we're hitting roadblocks. We can ask for help. We can say, hey, this was a crappy day and I did not get what I wanted to get done, but you know what? We're going to try again tomorrow. And just that in and of itself, acknowledging and setting those goals, holding each other accountable, I think it's really going to make all the difference. And that's kind of all of my immediate tips. Like I said, Dan and I are still going through all the AB5 stuff. And specifically, I'm going to be doing some research about what that means in the music industry and see what kind of exceptions and things that they're putting through. So I'm going to take a second and I'm going to scroll through and see if we have any questions in the chat here, because y'all made me take my glasses off. So I'm like, squinting here. Okay, let me just do a quick scroll here. Okay. Is it Narnia? I like that question. It's close. It is close. Oh, Lori, you moved from Maine to LA. Well, come back and visit. It's so fun here. Okay, let's go in. Sorry, there's a lot of comments. You guys are talking and I love it. Okay, we talked about that. Yes, on there. Yeah, as far as like getting gigs and playing places, I honestly don't know. I don't know if they're meeting just people who like rotate and are there consistently, or if they're going to be talking about like just individual like one-off gigs. I don't know. And I think a lot of us are still trying to do research and reading the law. It has been passed. It needs to be signed by the governor, and they've already said they're going to sign it. So there's still time before the implementation for us to kind of figure all of this out. I would honestly think it would pertain more to like weekly gigs than it would be just for one-off. But again, there's going to need to be a lot of clarification for that, which I will do my best to find the best information for you guys. And if we can get, I'm actually going to write a note here. Because I would love, I'll talk to Caroline, who is kind of my go-to lawyer, and see if she has any either music specific information that she could share with us, or if she has any contacts that would want to go live in the group. And I think for all of our groups, you know, have a session of all of us together to see if we could just get some clarification on what that means even in licensing. Yeah, I heard the same thing. The framers of the bill have been trying to work with the entertainment industry factions. Yeah, yep. I knew that they were trying to get in as an exception, but when I read the bill this morning that had like all the red line, entertainment, music, nothing had been worked in yet. It was like lawyers and a few others. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was specifically looking to see, and it didn't look like they had been in yet. So. I had my LLC for a while now. Awesome. I'm just going to revive my work and go as hard as possible. Yes. That's awesome, Omega. That's awesome. And it feels good, right? It's scary, but it's good. When you make that investment to file that paperwork and you get your LLC, then it's like, whoa, this is legit. Like it's a real business on paper, in my heart, with my efforts. Yeah, that's awesome. $65. Yeah, yep. Okay. Yes. Yeah, Madeline said, be prepared to talk to your accountant, and your accountant will tell you to talk to your lawyer, and your lawyer will tell you to talk to your accountant. Nobody wants to take responsibility for this because it can be complex, but you can talk to somebody and get that kind of in line. Hopefully, I really think Caroline is a good resource for you guys. I'm going to post her information. She has a really great blog, but she also offers those services to like help people get incorporated and things like that. Okay, LegalZoom, Rocket Lawyer. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and that's not something that I said. Because I was kind of thinking of it under your business classification and all that, but it's so true. If you guys don't have like your legal documents, like don't just let somebody take your song and send you $50. Like don't do that. Get things in writing, have a contract, have terms so that you know. It can be super exciting if you hear from somebody and they're like, hey, we want to use your song for this and this, but get those terms. They should have everything for you. They should have their single song agreements. We have our own that we use at the agency, and make sure you've got things in writing. Okay, that's huge. You don't want your music to be taken advantage of. You don't want your music to be lost. You know, you want to have control over it, and making sure you've got everything kind of in line, in a row, on paper. Absolutely, 100%. Need to get back to working on my website. Yeah, Wix. Wix is a great, I'll post that in the group too. It's a great resource for building a free website. Yeah, branding is big too, guys. Branding is one of my, that is definitely like a passion project for me. Like branding and graphics and graphic design is something that I've always done on the side. And it really speaks volumes, you know, when you sit down and you think about how you want your music, how you want your brand and your name to be perceived in the community. And when you're building your website, you know, if your music and your vibe is really serene and, you know, kind of calming, and that's how you want, you know, your presence to be, but your website is like huge, bright, flashing lights and colors and craziness, like that's contradictory. You want to make sure that the brand and the persona that you want to put out there is professional, but it's also in line, you know, with who you are and your spirit and the vibe that you want to put out in the world. Oh my goodness, I'm literally scrolling and there's already 40 new messages while I'm still scrolling. I love you guys. Questions about branding, I can answer some. Oh, Randall. Randall has done branding. Woohoo! So if you guys need more branding help, talk to Randall. Absolutely. Okay, how do I feel about establishing a gratis library with songs for charity? Lots of us write within those passions already. Do you think that's a good way to stimulate branding, growth, or have any thoughts on this? This would definitely, I'm going to tag John on this in the group, because from my perspective and from a business perspective, you serve first. You know, that's always been my motto. I'm not like, I think when you can use your talents and you have that out in the world, that only can do good for you energetically, but also establishing your credibility and your talent and giving you that outlet. Yeah, I'm in favor of it. And again, it's a great way to get your messaging out there, your branding out there. And I would love, I'm literally writing notes as I'm talking. But I'm going to post in the group, or I'll talk to John and then have John post in the group what his thoughts are, because I would love, from more of like the music industry perspective, from me and my business hat perspective, like, yeah, right on. I think that's awesome. But I'll get a music industry perspective from John and Kathy for you. Okay. Will there be notes? Yes, I'm happy to. I have my notes and things that I was talking about in the group. I'm happy to post those in the group because I'm going to be posting the resources anyway, so I'd be happy to summarize it. It probably won't be like immediately after this, but I would say by tomorrow I can get everything summarized and in notes for you guys. Put your glasses on. You guys are funny. I'm not that blind. Let's see. When is the listening session with Samantha? Okay, so let's see. I will tell you. Okay, for anybody who signed up through 8/17, Samantha Hilscher is coming on September 19th at 7:30 p.m. PST. So that's 10:30 my time. So that's a later night for me, but you West Coasters, it'll be a nice evening with Samantha. She's an amazing person. She was at Sync Keepers at the beginning of August, and she's just so talented. She's so generous. Yeah, you guys are gonna love her. The link is posted. If you, okay, I'm gonna show this to you. This is course related, not business related. I'm gonna share my screen with you real quick. Just in case you didn't see Delena's video. So if you go anytime you're looking for links to anything, replays, anything like that, if you go in the group, and this is, again, I'm on desktop, so I can't show you on my phone, but I think Delana did a video on her phone. But if you click see all under announcements, you can scroll down and see like this session was on here, John's check-in, basically anything from us that's like a check-in, a replay, a link for anything, you can always find under announcements. And this is Samantha's info here and the Zoom link. But you can also find it, if you're just on the main page, you can find it on the left-hand side where it says announcements. You can click that there. It wasn't added as an event in the group because technically not everybody was a part of that call. So yeah, and you can also do a search. I don't know if it's just me, but I have had an issue lately with Facebook's search function. It keeps telling me there's no results, and I'm searching for things for like Delana's name. And it's saying that she hasn't done any posts, and I'm like, yes, she has. So Facebook glitches aside, the search function is really, really great. I just don't know why it's not working for me lately. I've had horrible tech issues lately. Question, have you worked with any musicians who have many music balls in the air? Yep. That's a really good question for John, actually. Basically, the question is, if you've got multiple things going on with your business, like you're touring and you're also licensing songs and you're pitching. If you've got multiple things in the air, I'll punt this over to John too. But from my perspective, an effective business model is going to be planning, and intentional moves every single step along the way. So how many of you guys have heard of or already use and love Trello? Yay, Madeline loves Trello. Yay, okay. So Trello is basically a project management system. It's super easy. I kind of describe it as virtual sticky notes. But essentially what you want to do is organize the different areas of your business, what initiatives you have going on, so that you are intentionally planning out each facet of your business and not losing track of anything. Because I know my inbox explodes. Like I can't keep everything, organized in Gmail. But when you have something like Trello or Asana is another free project management. I'm writing these down so I can put it in there for you guys. Asana is another way to organize, and there's so many. Essentially, if you're going to be doing multiple things, you just need to get it organized. You just need to be really, really intentional with your time there, and it can all be under one business. Like you don't need to have separate business entities for each, like for gigs and for licensing, unless you're like going to start a music agency, which we have had some of our alumni from Six Figure Songwriting have gone on to start their own licensing agencies, which is so cool. But generally it can just be under your LLC that you've established for your business. And you have these different arms of your business going on. Like for Dan and I in our business, we do like one-off consulting where people will hire us to come and take a look at their business or help them get their business established. We also have retainer clients like Catch the Moon that we stay on, for different periods of time. We also do like podcasts and outreach and things like that. So it's just a matter of getting things organized in a centralized place that aren't just like, I like pen and paper like the rest of us, but when you can have an online project management system, it can be really, really helpful to keep multiple efforts, even multiple songs. John loves Trello. He organizes a lot of his stuff on there as well, like songs that he's writing and where it is in production and things like that. So something like that can be a really helpful thing. Facebook is flaky. It is. Have I ever done business between countries? Yes. It all depends on what you're doing. But is there, I think, yeah, Kimberly asked that. If there's something like specific, just let me know. But yeah, I mean, we hire contractors in Canada. We've worked with people all around the world. It's never really been a deterrent. Each country has its own laws as far as compensation and things like that. But I mean, we have students, getting their songs licensed. We've got students in Europe and Australia and New Zealand and South Africa, and that the barriers, I would say, have become fewer and fewer for musicians to be working in different areas of the world. But if there's like a specific thing that you're thinking of, let me know and I'll see if I can dig into that for you. Okay, so Joanna's talking about, is she shooting herself in the foot if she puts video out of her own home recordings alone along with her professional videos? She loves to be completely transparent. All of me, the progress, the demos. I would love all of your perspective on this. I love authenticity. I think in this day and age, I mean, even celebrities have got their phones out, doing Insta stories when they're, no makeup and, doing their thing. And, I think people really appreciate seeing that. And obviously, you want to have some quality control of things that you're putting out there. But when you're talking about your personal brand, if transparency is who you are, then I think that's great. I think it's great to be real and open and honest with the process. And I think people appreciate having that kind of inside look to the music creation process. Any advice on prioritizing where to invest your money in the music business? That is a very good question. I think there's probably going to be a lot of nuances that I am not completely familiar with the whole producing process. But I think you have to prioritize what's going to work and what's going to be pitchable, because that's one thing that we're really going to be working through in this program is, if you've got this passion project and you want to be producing this song and you just love the song, you think it's great, it's probably a better idea to invest your money and your time in a song that is going to be, if your goal is to make money with music licensing, it's going to be to put your time, your energy, your funds behind a project that's going to be sellable and that's going to be able to be licensed repeatedly so that you can easily make your money back and continue to make money on that. That's why we say when you start this program, you don't necessarily, from day one, even though we're giving you access to music supervisors and we're introducing you to people, like, don't feel like you have to be ready to pitch on day one. That's what this whole process is about, is figuring out what works and what works right now. That's why John works so hard, Kathy works so hard to stay really at the forefront of what's being licensed and what's making people money right now. Because that's where you want to be putting your money and your efforts, is where you're going to get the best return on your investment. So when you look for things like a website that isn't necessarily going to get your song licensed or not, they're not going to get the clip of your song and hear it and then be like, oh no, I need to check their website first. That's not what music supervisors are going to do. They're either going to like your music or you're not. So spending at this point a ton of money on a website might not be the best investment. But if you've got a song that you're getting feedback from your team and you're getting feedback from John, like, yeah, this is so close, this is right there, this is ready to be pitched, that might be someplace where you would want to put more money to getting that song produced the way that you want it and the way that's going to give you a really good return on investment. Okay. Okay, Chandra is requesting music, or is getting a TV producer is requesting music from Chandra. Woo-hoo! Amazing. That's great. Way to go. What would an agreement look like? Let me see if we have anything, any resources specifically on single song agreements. To get that for you, because that would be really helpful. I think this would be a really good question, maybe even for Kathy. Because Chandra, I am not super familiar with all of the terminology in song agreements, but it's definitely something that we need to get on for you. So it's on my notes. You guys are going to see lots of posts from me in the group. Should your website be the place to monetize your music? It can be, but I don't think that's going to be the central location of where you're going to monetize your music. I think the majority is really going to be coming in through pitches that you're sending out or briefs that you're responding to, submitting your music to, because from what I know in the music industry, and John might correct me, but I doubt he would, music supervisors aren't just out there all the time researching other people. They are inundated with songs. They can't listen to everything that comes across their desk. So having things ready to pitch and ready to send out, I think, is really where the bulk of the money is going to come in. Yeah, I think that kind of ties in what we were saying about return on investment. IRS tax law and non-residents as musicians. So if you are, if a company in California is licensing your music and you are in Maine, like me, yeah. It's usually, I'll get a concrete legal answer for you guys, but as far as employment law, it's usually where the employee is located. So me working for Kathy, I'm an employee in Maine. I pay Maine employment taxes. I don't pay California taxes, so Maine law applies to me even though the business is based in California. I'll have to double check though and see if that's the same for music licensing, because I'm honestly not entirely sure. Yeah, definitely highlighting your professional videos. Yep. Okay. It doesn't mean supervisor care if a song was released a few years ago or how old it is. Does it matter? Should we refresh or re-record songs to be more licensable? I am not going to answer this question. I'm going to let John answer this question. My gut says it depends, honestly. From what I know, it depends, because there are some trends and themes that carry on for a few years, and then there are some things that are constantly changing in the music industry. So this is why I love Zoom, because it records all the chat. So even my chicken scratch notes, I can go back and I can copy and paste and be like, John. Although we joke that sometimes when we're bringing in new students and in the challenge, people literally pitch me pitch me songs, and I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. Great work. But no, I don't really tell people I know anything about music. Just business and music business. Okay. Yeah, Beverly, that's a great idea. Putting your professional things on your website, but then keeping Instagram more personal and the behind the scenes stuff. I think that's a great strategy. Can it be licensed to someone else at the same time? Does it tie up that song? Chandra, that depends. That depends on the agreement that you sign. There's exclusive agreements and there's non-exclusive agreements, and it all depends on the terms of the contract that you sign for that specific song that's getting licensed. Whenever we sign a song as an agency for Cats the Moon, if we hear your song, we're like, hey, we want it for our library. We always have non-exclusive agreements, which means we could be pitching your song, but you could have another agency pitching your song. You could be pitching. We don't care. We want your song to do great. We're not going to tie you up in a contract that says you can't pitch it to other people, or that anything has to come through us. But there's plenty of agencies that do that. And then there's also depending on who's licensing your song, that's going to also depend on if it's an exclusive or non-exclusive agreement. Maybe this is a question for John. It might be. To share a work tape or demo in the listening sessions to see if we should work through. I will ask John. You know anything about IRS tax laws as a non-resident for non-American? Like if you're in, I don't think it has any, I don't think that IRS tax law has any bearing on you, like if you're overseas and you're licensing to, because you're not paying, unless there's super complex depending on what country you're in, like there's VAT and there's all different like taxes that you have to pay for different services and things like that. But I don't think the IRS has any bearing on you and what you pay, if I'm not mistaken. But I will, again, check with my people and see what answers I can get for you guys. I lived in Tennessee my whole life and just moved to New Jersey. I have a property in Tennessee. Can I form a publishing company in Tennessee where the taxes are lower? That's a question for Caroline. Again, the answer is going to be it depends. It depends on the Tennessee tax law. It depends on the New Jersey tax law. A lot of people do that for not just for music, for all different kinds of businesses, but it's going to depend on your individual situation and the type of property and all that kind of thing. But I think the answer is tentatively yes, you could probably do that. But I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not an accountant. I sell books I've written through Amazon. Something like that, which says US doesn't withhold taxes. Yeah, I'm responsible to claim it on my Canadian taxes. Yep. Oh, Madeline has reference materials. Awesome. If you want to post if any of you guys have clarity or information on any of this tax law stuff, yeah, awesome. I think I answered the question about non-resident, I think. Do you know when the other bonus sessions is? We are still, the Music Business Lawyer, yeah, we are still working on getting everybody in. The cool thing is that we've got some amazing people. The hard thing is it's really hard to coordinate their schedules. So we literally have a spreadsheet where we are tracking everybody literally as soon as we have somebody confirmed, then we let you know. Literally as soon as we get it. But I promise you we have not forgotten. I promise you it will happen as soon as we get the confirmation from them and their people. When the income comes from America, you can be double taxed. Okay, that is very good to know. There's a music incubator in Canada that helps with business advice. That's amazing. This might be a silly question, but you have a separate bank account for your music to track everything coming in, going out. Would you transfer a wage into your personal account? Yes, you can, absolutely. And again, that's going to, that would be something once you decide, like if you're going to be an LLC or a sole proprietorship, you'll be able to figure out how you need to claim that when you file your taxes. But that's the beauty of it, because then everything can be really, really nicely tracked and you can really see how much is going in and how much is coming out for that. But again, that depends on where you land with how you end up establishing your business. You can set up an LLC, right. The question is, where are you conducting business? Yep, and that it honestly depends on who you talk to. It depends on the lawyer you talk to, the accountant you talk to. Some people say, no, like a lot of people try to incorporate in Delaware. And some people will say, no way, no, don't do that. And some lawyers will say, yeah, I'll help you do it right now. So it all kind of depends. So I will not give advice either way. Lots of good tax. Okay, I think I got through everybody's questions and pretty much right on time, which is awesome. Guys, I am so excited to be a part of this. I am so honored to be hanging out with you. And thank you so much for your patience as we're getting all the rest of the bonus people, as we're getting new guest experts coming in and figuring out the best way to serve you. I hope you can see through Kathy and John and Delana, our hearts are in this. And we care about each and every one of you. We care about your success. We want to do whatever it takes to help you find this, what success means for you, and learn the skills in music licensing. We are always, always in your corner. And we're so honored to be a part of this and of your music journey and your life journey. And again, the easiest, quickest way to get us, if you have questions about the course or anything, feel free to tag us in the group. Feel free to email us, hello@catchthemoonmusic.com. That goes right to Delana, and then she'll figure out, who on the team needs to respond to you. That's usually the quickest way to get to us is our inbox. But have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the group.